Hello and welcome to another episode of Cubs on Tap. I'm Joey Ricotta, joined by the great Nick Hudson at Nick_on_tap. I am at Joey Knows Nothing. We are Cubs on Tap at Cubbies on Tap on X. We're not on ecstasy, but we're on X. It's not Twitter anymore. So X Twitter, X them out. The Reds X'd out the Cubs tonight in Game 2. Game 1 was a lot of fun, Nick. We saw Jordan Wicks for the second time on his 24th birthday, and he went another solid 5 innings of one-run ball. Cubs pull out the win, 6-2. And then in Game 2, the Cubs looked like they had it in the bag. Bullpen was outstanding up until the end with our shutdown guy, Adbert Alzolay, who unfortunately blew another save, back-to-back saves. Not quite the night that we thought we were going to be having here on the mic, because I think we were both looking forward to doing some celebrating. But, Nick, we're going to get into it all. How the heck are you doing right now, my friend, after a good and a bad outing by the Cubs?
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. I'm doing good. Looking forward to a long weekend, fun, relaxing weekend. Hopefully the Cubs can mend my broken heart after tonight, because it was brutal, man. Like you said, it was a fun first one, but they more than definitely should have had both of those games. And we were talking before we got on here. They kind of dug themselves in a little bit of a hole without feeling like you did, because you only lost one there, but it was a rough ending there. And Adbert did show some cracks, and it's unfortunate, but I'm looking forward to dissecting it all with you.
Yeah, showing some cracks is kind of a good way to put it there. Some chinks in the armor, I would say, too. It's very strange how we can have this bipolar of a feeling or mood when you go from super high to 6-2. You kind of have a cruising type of win. Feeling really good going to that ninth inning, 6-1 in Game 1, after the bats kind of just continued to add on and have some nice insurance. Getting the insurance runs there. Ian Happ continuing to make it Ian Cincinnati for everybody listening. It's Ian Cincinnati. Get it right. Say it right. Stop trying to change it. It's not Ian Happ Cincinnati. It's not Happ Cincinnati. It's Ian Cincinnati. Okay? We established that a year and a half ago here at Cubs on Tap. It's Ian Cincinnati. That's the city in Ohio. It's not Cincinnati anymore. They've legally changed the name. But, yeah, Cody Bellinger, too. I mean, we got to mention him, right? Freaking monster in Game 1 and in Game 2 with home runs. But, yeah, first let's talk about the good stuff first, I guess, before we get into, our complete vent. Jordan Wicks, I mean, he pitched, 90 pitches? I wasn't expecting him to throw that many pitches in Game 1. I didn't get to see too much of his start because I was still at work. But it seems like he battled his way through. And he didn't have as many strikeouts this time. I think 3 walks, but 5 hits allowed. But only 1 run in 5 innings. And the bullpen was pretty much nails. Keegan, I know he allowed a run, but he was still pretty damn good. Second appearance back from the minors. What were your thoughts on Jordan Wicks in Game 1?
Yeah, he's a fun guy to watch. I was excited to see him take the start today. I love to see him throw around that pig skin, during the warm-up just before he gets out there. That's great to see. But he's just a fun guy, and that changeup is fucking ridiculous. It is so nasty, and it seems if he needs a go-to pitch where just he needs to kind of calm things down and get something, get a swing and miss, it's that changeup. Every time he'll go to it, and it's that arm action that really sells it. He's got great arm action on it. You can't pick up on it. So that looked great. Another great thing, like you said, was he battled. I was surprised too to see how many pitches he threw. But I was really happy to see him get through the 5th. I was really hoping he could push through to the 5th. And just get through, especially to help the bullpen, because like you said, we were set up great because of that game. We were set up really good. Didn't have to use too many arms, but Keegan Thompson came in, looked great. But overall, Jordan Wicks is becoming a guy that you can kind of get a solid kind of approach, hopefully 5 innings. And we were saying that's all we really would want is 5 good innings of baseball, and that's what he's been doing. So I'm excited to see what the future holds for him because he looks like really promising right now.
As am I. Yeah, I'm super excited to see what the future can bring with this kid as he gets more pitches under his belt, more experience here at the big league level, being able to work through lineups, multiple times, and really, you said it right. He battles. He was able to battle his way through this outing and still allow minimal damage in five innings. Like, you cannot ask for much more than that from a guy that's just making his second career start. And it was on his birthday, and he got his second career win. So, pretty good first couple of appearances here from Jordan Wicks. And, I think it was great that the bullpen came in there and locked it down for him. Palencia was good. Merriweather was good. And then Keegan Thompson, that's a guy that I think we got to talk about as well, because last time out, 2 innings, 5 strikeouts, was nails. And that was his first appearance back from the minors after really being down there for a long time and going through a lot of struggles in the minors too, that I think a lot of people are aware of, but some might not be as aware of, that he really did struggle for a long time down there, even in the minors after getting set down because he was giving up too many walks. And he started to go through some rough patches. He was giving up some more hard contact. He was missing in the zone. But really looks like the Keegan of old, even though he gave up a run there in that 9th inning. But the Cubs had a nice little cushion. The stuff looked really good. What do you think about Keegan? Because I feel like this development could be huge.
Yeah, definitely. And the stuff's always been there. He's had really good stuff. It's been mainly, like you said, walks. He really struggled with walks when he was up here in the majors. But when he went down, like you said, he struggled in the minors, and that was really hard for him in general. To go through that, to have such a big fall, even struggling in the minors. So it seems like he's made some big adjustments. And he looks like he has a lot more poise on the mound out there and a little bit more comfortable. Seems like the game slowed down a little bit more for him, and I attribute that probably to going back down and fixing some things, and they were able to kind of figure out what was going on with him. But he could be such a huge piece going down the stretch here if he can remain solid. He's just another arm that we can go to, and maybe he becomes one of those high leverage arms that Rossi loves to use. It's a good game plan to use guys like that, especially when you need to. So if he can get into that, conversation of being that high leverage guy, it would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something, because there have been guys that we just do not rely on right now, that you just cannot trust in those roles. And so if it is that he's back and he becomes another guy that can give you 1, 2, possibly 3 innings, like a fireman type of role that we've seen from him in the past, and just a clutch guy. He's not afraid to, when he's on his game and he's at his best, to come in there and lock down things with guys on base. It doesn't matter. Like, Keegan, when he's at his best, he can absolutely do that. And I agree with what Nick Kirby here, our good friend here, he's with Chatterbox Sports. I was hopping in with their show the other night and trying to get some information. Like, I'm trying to see, like, all right, who's going to be your starter? Who's going to be starting game 2, game 1? But yeah, Nick here says in the comments, what a wild day for baseball, fellas. There is nothing like the highs and lows of 162, I must say. Hayden Wesneski looked nasty today. And yes, Nick, absolutely. That's why he is nicknamed Wes Nasty. But yeah, no, I love that Nick's in here, because I really enjoy watching their show, and he's obviously been on this show in the past, and we go back and forth quite a bit. Dude, Wes Nasty hit 99 on the gun tonight. That slider, that sweeper was disgusting. Was it 3 1/3? I don't think he allowed a hit might have walked a guy. Let's see what his final line was in that second game. But he was absolutely dynamite tonight. 3 1/3, no hits, no runs. He did walk a guy, 6 strikeouts in that time. And that's a big difference from where he was just his last outing. He got shelled. Like Wesneski got shelled the most recent appearance we saw of him. So, but we'll get to that second game. Unless you have like some immediate thoughts on Wesneski, like I guess I'd like to hear those too, Nick.
Sure, yeah. I mean, like you said, he looked really good. Like his stuff, like you said, it plays so well. He reached back to get a little bit extra for that 99-mile-an-hour strikeout. That was great. But it plays so well, and I hope that he can just find that consistency because, like you said, he got shelled before, and it seems like if he can just find his consistent stride, then he can just really be an asset to this Cubs bullpen.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we all really thought that he was going to be that 5th starter and just take the job and run with it, as we've said a bunch of times here, but that didn't really happen. And maybe he could find that success though in the bullpen. Maybe it's, the 2 to 3 inning type of roles where he can go out there and really gas it up. To be honest though, I didn't know he had 99 in the tank. I didn't know he had that. I mean, I know he can reach back and get 97 at times.
Yeah.
99. Like for a second I was thinking like Nick and Nick Kirby, Nick Hudson and Nick Kirby. I thought there was a hot gun there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, hot gun, right?
Like, wasn't Drew Smiley hitting 95, 96? Like, what was happening today? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be a hot gun. Could be a hot gun, honestly, because, that seems if Drew Smiley's hitting those numbers, it could be a hot gun.
And I was texting Juice and Tyler during the game, and I was like wondering the same thing. And I was asking, I was like, okay, so what was Merriweather at? And I think they said he was at around 99, 100. And I was like, well, that's how you'll know if it's like a hot gun or not, because Merriweather consistently is usually that 99, 100. So, I mean, unless the guns were different from the first game to the second game, which I don't think they would be. Maybe it wasn't a hot gun. Like, I don't know. But still, that's a lot of smoke from a Hayden Wesneski. I did not know he had that.
No, and nor did I. But it's great to see, and I hope that he can keep going.
Yeah, and he's saying, and I love what Nick's saying about Wesneski here. Can't remember a guy painting the corners. Painted the corners better than he did tonight all year. And then he was talking about the gun, too. Red starting pitcher Lyon and closer Diaz were both down, so maybe it wasn't that hot as far as the readings on the guns there. But yeah, I mean, so that's a positive development there too. Like if he can reach back and find it, maybe he was just super fresh tonight. I don't know what the case was, but I love it nonetheless because that's a guy that we remember seeing for most of last year. Whatever, he came up later in the season. It's not like he pitched all year. He only pitched a little bit, but the little bit that we saw from him and then what we saw in spring training, it was like, oh, this is a dude. This is a dude that you can rely on going into the season. You're going to see that development. But obviously he's had to tweak some things and adjust to big league hitters who have adjusted to him this season too. And hopefully that's just him finding it now. Maybe he is just kind of a second, or maybe he's just a second half pitcher. I don't know what the deal is, but I don't know, Nick. Do you want to get into the bad stuff though? Because I'm like, this is
Before we get into the bad, I just want to say for game one, it was good to see the power come back. You had Bellinger go deep, Mr. Cincinnati go deep. You had Suzuki go deep, and that Suzuki home run was really fun because I love those ones that just keep going and you think it's going to bang off the top of the wall, but it just sneaks right over. And then they're already halfway around second and they just jog it out. It's a great feeling and it's fun to watch if you're a fan of that team to just watch that ball sail right over live. It's a great feeling. So that stuck out to me and the power coming back, I feel good about that. So a little bit of good before the bad. I don't know if you want to get into some good like that, but
no, it's probably the right thing to do. Say his shot was an absolute laser. Like that thing was smoked. And you're right, man. Right off the bat, I thought it was off the wall. I didn't think that thing was going to carry over the fence because I didn't think he hit it high enough. And he hit it so hard that it didn't matter if it was actually high enough. Like you said, it just kind of kept just a little by little scraping. Just an absolute rocket. I didn't check the exit velocity on that, but I want to. And I'm sure they brought it up during the game because that's how Boog is. I just did not see that during the game. But no, that was good to see Ian Happ. Like we said, it's still Ian Cincinnati over there in Ohio. Loves playing the Reds, loves playing the Pirates. And Cody Bellinger. This guy, I put out a tweet, and I want to know your opinion on this. So, out of the NL, right? I think we pretty much know who the MVP is going to be, or like we have a good idea of like top two, right? Like,
yeah.
In my opinion, it's Ronald Acuna Jr. or probably Mookie Betts, right?
And
like
they go back and forth.
That's kind of, you can go back and forth, and there's other guys in there, right? Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson.
Yeah,
Austin Riley's been really good this year too. Like there's other guys that kind of deserve mentions. But my biggest, and I know now we're going to get into a little bit of a baseball just debate or talk for a second. But when you look at those teams, and okay, WAR is one thing that everybody's going to look at. WAR is huge, right? When you look at those teams, the Dodgers are so far out in front of the NL West. The Braves are so far in front of the NL East. If either of those teams lose one of their main guys, like let's say Mookie Betts is hurt right now, and he's not playing. God forbid. Knock on wood. Let's say Mookie Betts is down. Are the Dodgers still winning that division? Because I think they are.
Yeah.
If the Braves are losing Ronald Acuna Jr., who's been absolutely incredible too, unreal the numbers he's doing, stolen bases, home runs, like you don't see that type of season. Are the Braves still in first place?
That one,
I think they are.
Yeah, that one you could go back and forth. Like, would they be? But the Dodgers, I think for sure they would still be in first place. But losing Ronald Acuna.
But look at the Braves though. What are they? 14 games up right now?
Yeah, true.
Is he worth 14 games?
Yeah.
Like, so.
True.
My whole thing is the Cubs being in contention and still not winning their division, and now they're 3.5 games back, which we'll get to in a second, reasons why.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger, to me, if you just talk about the word valuable and then you include to their team, Cody Bellinger is the most valuable player to his team. And I don't even know if that's questionable because the Cubs would not be in this race at all if it weren't for Cody Bellinger, right? Like, that's my argument.
That's a great point, man. Really well laid out, too, because you're 100% correct. Look when he went down. Even when he went down earlier in the year, you saw that the Cubs team felt it, losing that power. And then when he came back and just at the beginning of the stretch, he was a little off. But then when he hit his stride, ever since then, it's brought life to this Cubs team. Like, without him, you're right. They're not where they are right now. He has legitimately carried them. We said earlier in the year there was going to be a guy that has to put the team on their back and just bring them over that's him. That's the guy. Yeah. And now you're talking about he's made himself a lot of money. He really has, because you got to figure out a way to keep him here. You just have to, because he's a guy that you can really build around. He's just shown that he is a solid guy that can carry a team. And that is something that general managers beg for, to find, is someone that can legitimately just carry a team when they're going through a down spell or anything like that. Like, he's been the guy. So defensively and offensively, like he's just there. And to be asked to go from center field then to first base and just not miss a beat with it, I mean, he's an all-around great. I'm so happy that they made that decision. And at the beginning, when they did, very beginning of the year, we're like, who knows what's going to happen. No one knew. No one knew this was how this was going to go. So just an example of a great gamble that paid off. So I think you're right. He's so valuable. He would be the most valuable player to this team for sure. To any team, we need Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, and maybe that's more of a bad, maybe I'm giving the Cubs too much shit. Like I'm saying the Cubs are a bad team, and I don't mean it that way. Like Cubs are a good team, but just like you said, without him and the things that they've asked him to do and how well he's played defensively at both positions, and then to steal the bases that he's been stealing. I think he got caught stealing tonight, but nonetheless, still the guy's been absolutely unreal. And they were talking about on the broadcast. They had Jed Hoyer up there in the booth and talking with him, and he basically said it. All the things that I think we've been thinking too about him cutting down the strikeouts. With 2 strikes, his approach, being able to slap that to left field, they might be shifting him, and it's probably not a good decision because the way he approaches the game now or these days, that's probably not a good thing to do, even though the ban of the shift, I know, but how defenses align, they're still not quite. It's kind of like a mini shift. And just the fact that me and you, when we were off air talking about that Tauchman play, say that again, in center field when the ball was hit to end the game, when Noelvi Marte walked it off, just the fact that we had to question, okay, if he was at second base and Yan Gomes doesn't make the overthrow with the runner stealing at second base, does Cody Bellinger throw him out? And normally I'd say no shot in hell because there's 2 outs and the guy's going on contact. And the way that Tauchman was positioned was kind of a little bit over. It wasn't like he was dead center. He had to move to his right. He's a left-handed thrower, so he would have had to put himself in perfect position and then get momentum behind his throw. But with Bellinger, that's how good he's got the arm too. Maybe he does make that a play. It doesn't matter, but it's just some of those fun things to think about because you do have a guy that's that damn good that makes that much of an impact on different plays. So
yeah, and he's just your star. Honestly, he's the guy. He is the guy you market around. He's the guy. I can't see them losing him because who else do you build into that star position like that? I mean, he's the guy. So we'll have to see what happens. But it's if I'm Jed Hoyer, I don't mean to joke around. I see a lot of people say it on Twitter, but blank check.
Yeah.
Honestly, tell us what you want because depending on how this season goes, you're right. He carried them to wherever they're going to go.
Back up the Brinks truck, baby. Back up the Brinks truck. It's going to be.
He made himself a lot of money this summer.
Yeah, he did. And fuck it. Pay it. He's young. He's a star, like you said.
Yeah.
Would you rather pay, hypothetically, and then we're gonna really get into the bad stuff here. Hypothetically, would you rather pay a potential injury risk knowing that you need to get 2 players for 1 when you go after someone like Shohei Ohtani? You're expecting to get the hitter and the pitcher. That's what you're paying for. Or would you pay less money and still a damn good amount of money for a guy like Cody Bellinger that's really fucking impactful on 2 sides of the ball too? It's just not – he just doesn't pitch.
I'd take Cody any day of the week because as you see with Shohei Ohtani, he's an amazing talent. He's a unicorn, but you can't rely on the 2 positions. Maybe he's not pitching. Maybe he's not feeling. Maybe he has an arm injury. You can't rely on just that, like you said. So I wouldn't want to pay that price tag when you're not for sure going to be getting both of those sides of the baseball, like you said. Cody Bellinger is just going to be that solid guy. You're still going to pay him a lot of money for sure. And I think his price tag went up ever since the Ohtani injury news. But you got to pay it. You're the freaking Cubs. I mean, you pack the stadium, you have the vibes, you have the expensive beer. Like, you need to go do it. You need to make it happen, because without him this year, like you've illustrated very well, they would not have been able to do where they are right now at all. There's no way. No way.
It's crazy though to think about, because thinking about when Bellinger was hurt, if he doesn't get hurt, where is he in the MVP chase then? Like the actual MVP, like I'm not, because I don't think he's going to win. I know he's not.
Yeah.
What does numbers look like then?
True. Where are the Cubs at? Did they like avoid that really bad stretch of baseball? Like, maybe.
I didn't think he was gonna, when he was hurt. So they were dealing with this throughout this early part of the season, first half of the season. It was always somebody was hurt. Nico spent some time. Dansby spent some time. Seiya spent time.
Yeah.
Bellinger spent time. Like all these guys just kept. It was always one of them that was out at each time. And then when all of them came back, then they kind of started to hit that stride. But I didn't think when Bellinger went down, I didn't think he was going to have that big of an impact. But holy shit, man, he must have had a huge impact when he was out of the lineup, because then when he came back, like we saw him just absolutely take off.
Yeah, he did have a big impact. I mean, he's a power bat in a lineup that doesn't have a lot of power bats. So when you have that type of like change the game in a second type of power like that, like it just changes things automatically, because you get a few guys on base in front of him. You see the RBI numbers. Like, he brings them in. That's what's awesome about it, because this Cubs team was made to get on base a lot, was made to put the ball in play, slap it the other way, like you said. But there's not too many guys that can clean it all up, and he's one of them that can just clean those bases up, bring those guys in, and do it with extra base hit power. So,
Yep.
there's not, like, you can't say enough good things about him. He's great.
Yeah, I mean, we could spend probably another hour talking about Belly, because if it's not obvious at this point, we freaking really like and love Cody Bellinger at this point. Like the things he does on a nightly basis, you kind of just get, you shouldn't be surprised at this point, but you still are, because it's like, again, really again. But no, to that point, yeah, we should probably move on. Like, let's talk about the second game. 6-2, obviously the first game against the Reds. Cubs took that one. It was Jordan Wicks picking up the W there. And then in game 2, seemed like they had it in the bag, but I want to start early in this game. Young pitcher, loads him up, doesn't have his control, walking guys, walked everybody. Cubs didn't put a ball in play, bases loaded, 1 out. And then he strikes out 2 guys. You could not put the ball in play. You didn't score, bases loaded, 1 out in the first inning. And to me, that's where it all really went from there, because we've been too reliant on these close victories and of late, and these miracle, like, come from behind wins. And yes, this team's a gritty team, and they do fight to the very end. But looking back at how the game ended, we're too reliant on that. Like, you got to cash in when you have opportunities to cash in, and especially when you have a chance to really bury a young pitcher early and put him behind the 8 ball. Like, I don't know. What are your thoughts about the offense tonight before we get into, yes, the game was blown?
Yeah, the offense in the second game was very disappointing. A lot of lackluster plate appearances. That first inning was really the backbreaker, because you could have really put the pressure on them early. They already had to use a lot of arms in the first game. Like, you could have really put the pressure on them. But I believe Dansby struck out looking, and then Seiya struck out as well. So that was painful, because, like you said, just put the ball in play and you got to run there. But they unfortunately couldn't do it. And then throughout the night, there were opportunities. It just seemed like they didn't have that same energy that they had in the first game with the offensive side of things. But the pitching was there. I mean, overall, like, they shut it down. It's just the offense couldn't scrape anything together. And Granted, going into the ninth, I felt good. I felt like, okay, we're gonna take another close one. This is crazy how many close ones we're getting. But like you said, you can only play that game so long. You have to score more than two or one run, honestly, because you can't be putting that much pressure every day on your pitchers like that. There eventually, like we said, there's going to be cracks, and Adbert showed that he's human. That's all.
Were you? Yeah, of course with Adbert. I don't. I'll get it. We'll get into that in a second too. But like, were you surprised to not see? So Alexander Canario got called up, part of the September call-ups, along with Shane Green. We did not see Shane Green pitch at all, which I was super surprised by because I thought he was coming up to be kind of that long man. If he wasn't going to start, it was basically going to be like a start for him, sort of thing. And he's an older veteran, has kind of fought his way back, battled some injuries, would have made his Cubs debut here today in one of the games, but he didn't. And then Alexander Canario wasn't in the lineup and didn't get an opportunity, and he just got called up as a part of the call-ups too. So, and I know a lot of people were super excited, me included, and I'm sure you as well, are excited to see him play and see what he can do, being one of the Cubs. I don't know if I'd call him a top prospect now, but like top 15 prospect still, and he's been on fire in AAA. He's absolutely started to come back and seems healthy. Were you surprised to not see those guys in either of the games today?
Yeah, I was a little surprised, especially Shane Green. I thought that they would definitely get him in there to pitch. I thought he might be in Smiley's spot, piggybacking off an opener. But, not super shocked. I think that a lot of it had to do with the fact that they didn't use a lot of guys first game. I think that could potentially be leading into why they didn't use Shane Green at least. But Canario, I'm so excited. I thought that they might get him in the second lineup because I was looking at the first one. And I'm like, oh, no, maybe in the second one. But I don't know. We'll see him. I'm very excited for Canario. Like you said, he's raking right now. So
he is raking. There's no doubt about it. Like he's got some massive power, and he does strike out. Like that's kind of an issue for him, even in the minors. Like a 31% or that 28 to 31% K rate kind of range. So I'm not gonna have these expectations for him. I don't think it's fair to him, especially with a team that's in like a playoff push type mode. But he could be a spark. Like
he could.
I don't know who you would take out of the lineup, but there's a few of these guys that are starting to kind of struggle here as of late. Tauchman's still walking. He's still walking, but he's not hitting worth a shit. The last like 14 games, I think it was. I believe that's what I think. It was Juice also saying that Candelario over his last 14 or 15 has not been hitting either. And that's definitely true. And then Morel has not really been hitting lately. So there's a few like different holes there in the lineup. Swanson probably needs a day off. Like he's not been hitting that well.
Swanson needs a day off. Yeah, desperately needs a day off.
So maybe you put Nico at short. You let Morel play second. I don't know. You take Tauchman out of the lineup for a day. Candelario can play center, but you could DH Candelario and move Belly to center. And then maybe you put Candelario or, I'm not sure who at first base, but I'm not going to say Wisdom. I don't know. There's options there, right? Like there's some things that the Cubs can do to play around with it, but do you think we'll see him in this series? I don't know if it's like, do you think they'll try to force him into the lineup somewhere?
They might. Like you said, there's some guys that need some days off. Dansby's one of them. He needs a day off. I think Tauchman could use a day off, or maybe like even move down. It's just he's looking kind of rough up there. But like you said, he's still walking. So you'll take that at least. But there's some guys that could use a day. I would like to see them force force them into the lineup just because, like, from a fan's perspective, that's what you want. But I don't know if that's what we're gonna get. We'll have to see. But I think in this series, like you might see him for sure. Um, it's the call up. You need to utilize it. Like you said, it could be a spark. It could be great.
Could be.
Never know.
I still think they should let Nelly V swim. Get him back from the Royals.
Take him back from the Royals.
No, I'm just playing. I Jose Cuas is all right too. He walks a lot of guys though. He's a little wild.
Yeah, I saw him actually live at Wrigley when he first debuted with the Cubs, and I really liked him. And I was like, "Whoa, he's gonna be this lockdown guy." And then the very next time I saw him, he like walked 3 guys, and I'm like, "What the hell happened?" So
dude, he's so funky, his delivery, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, and I think that's what attributes to a lot of his walks. Like, it's hard to repeat his mechanics, but yeah, he's filthy if he can just like land strikes.
I want him to be good so bad though, because I need that trade to be worth it. Like,
Yeah,
just for me, for like my personal, like I need that trade to be, because Canario to me could be a Nelly V type with that power, but a different level of good. You know, like upper above what Nelly V was ever going to be probably.
yeah,
And yeah, he can play center field too. I saw somebody on Twitter like he doesn't play center, so that's why he's not in the lineup. Maybe they don't trust him in the majors to do that, but he played 12 games at AAA this year in center. He logged, that was like, I believe that was the second most innings logged in the outfield was center field. So he can play it. It's not like he can't. So we'll just have to kind of see how that shakes out. Of course, you would prefer probably Belly or Talkman out there defensively at this stage, but
yeah, defensively, yeah.
But I do think that there were some positives from overall from the games. But yeah, I guess we should get into Alzolay now. That's probably that time. And we talked a little bit about Wesneski. I thought Mark Leiter Jr. I loved seeing that fire from him.
Yeah, that was great,
dude.
Yeah, and that's like the hindsight's 2020 because afterwards I'm like maybe Leiter should have just kept going because he was pumped. He was just pumped. But like I get it. I don't fault David Ross at all. I think that was a great move to go to Alzolay, obviously, but yeah, that fire from Leiter, man, that was cool.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I remember seeing it. We've seen it a few times from him when he gets out of those big jams. And it's always a big, you feel a momentum kind of swing to your side. Unfortunately, that didn't really happen with the Cubs tonight. But, I mean, dude, when he gets out of that jam and he's pumping the fists and screaming and whatever he was saying, I just feel like that at that moment, Cubs are going to win. It's the Cubs night. Cubs are going to win. I don't know how. They're up by a run. They're going to get it done. And then Seiya gets that double, right?
Yeah.
Gets the double. He should have. They should have cashed in there with nobody out, runner at second base. Like, come on, walk me through that, though, Nick. Like, what are your thoughts on?
Yeah,
I was talking with Juice. I was talking with some guys. Like, I think Juice felt like Ross should have made a specific move there. But I want to get some fresh thoughts because me and you haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, it's just I was so frustrated because as soon as he got that double, I was like, oh, insurance. We need insurance desperately. I'm tired of playing these close games. Tired of betting on this. Let's go. Let's get some insurance. It just seemed like they were so flat. And the thing is, like, they don't move the runner, and that's the most frustrating thing. Is like they don't play to what they're being pitched. They won't take the ball the other way in those situations. And it's like it's critical to have that mindset in that moment to just at least move the runner, especially with no outs. Just get him to third, and then a sac fly. You have the insurance. Like, it's just unfortunate, but I mean, I don't know if I have a specific mood in mind. During that time, I was just kind of like, just give me the insurance. Just get the fucking run it. It's just no outs. Come on, man. Like I was pissed off because this is something that could have gotten them out of what occurred after.
Yeah, I was kind of in that same boat because I feel like even with Candelario's struggles, right? So I'll give you the scenario that Juice had wanted. He thought maybe they should have pinch hit. Ross should have pinch hit. Candelario for Madrigal, bunted, gotten the runner to third with one out, and then set it up for Gomes to either hit a sac fly or make contact, get that extra run in. And I like that idea. I really do like that idea. I think that's something I normally condone if you're trying to add on another run. Even to tie the game, like ninth inning, you got to do what you got to do to get that one run, whichever range you're going in. So I'm okay with that. The problem I have with it, though, it's not really a problem. I guess I didn't really have a problem with David Ross having a no move there because Candelario hits from the left side. He is probably your best hitter, even though he's been struggling lately in that situation. Because if it's not Candelario, it's okay, Madrigal can pinch hit or Canario can pinch hit. But then you're talking about right-handed hitters. And then if you're leaving it to Gomes with one out and a runner on third base, who's been very clutch this season and been pretty damn good as of late too, I just feel like I kind of still want the lefty in that situation, or I know he's a switchy, but the lefty with the capability to still pull the ball and move the runner over that way, but also still give him a chance to drive in the run and maybe make it an even bigger inning. I kind of didn't mind the move there for Ross to not make a move. And I also thought that putting Madrigal in the game, now how it played out was Candelario got out, and then Gomes came up, had that little tapper, runner moves over. Then it's Morel, and then Morel's pinch hit for with Madrigal. And then Madrigal's the contact bat. I liked that decision to go to the contact bat with two outs and a runner on third versus Canario, who can strike out quite a bit because you just want to get a base hit in that situation. It didn't play out the way the Cubs wanted to, but I thought that was like the thought process, at least. You could make an argument either way on the very initial like Candelario move, but I think once it got to that point, the Madrigal decision was the right one. That just didn't play out. But either way, I'm in the same boat you are. I'm just pissed off that it did, like kind of depressed and heartbroken. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, and that insurance is so huge there too. It really is.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't want to get too down on Alzolay either. I guess we should probably talk about one last time. Like the blown save that he had his last time out, to me, that doesn't count. Like,
yeah,
he hit a guy with the bases loaded. He came in with a bad situation. Hit a guy with the bases loaded. Tonight, Nick Martini, of all people, the Illinois native, like, what are we doing, man? Hits the home run, ties it up, and then Yan Gomes tries to throw out Fairchild at second. Ball squirts into center field. He overthrows him. And then Fairchild gets knocked in with a Noelvi Marte walk-off single. Should we be worried about Alzolay?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think, like you said, the one yesterday, I wouldn't count that. Came into a really bad situation, bases loaded, hit the guy. But then he didn't lose it. I was looking for that specifically to see if like he just completely lost it then, because he was pretty pissed off that he did that, rightfully so. But like he kept his control, he kept it all under control. So, I mean, tonight you're gonna have nights like this. This is part of the closer job. I mean, you're gonna give up hard. You're gonna give up those home runs, and like we said, I think Fairchild scoring no matter what. Maybe Bellinger has a shot. But it's really your offense that puts you in that position where you had to have such a tight window where you couldn't make any mistakes like that. And he's usually under that stress. So I think moving forward, he'll be okay. I think he'll bounce back from it, learn. But it's just something that closers have to deal with. They give up those big home runs because the last 3 outs are hard to get.
Last 3 outs are always the toughest.
Yep.
That's why it's so impressive, man, that he had 18 straight saves before, the last 2 blown saves. But to your point, he didn't lose it the last time he came into the game. Like, it was, okay, yeah, he hit a batter, tied it up or whatever, and then the Cubs ended up coming back because he still was nails, and then, stayed in there and continued to pitch in that last outing. So I'm not worried at all about Adbert Alzolay. I'm just not. I know some people might think that he's not really who he's been recently, and I disagree. I think he is exactly who he's been this season, as far as the good Alzolay, not the last couple outings. But yeah, Nick, any final thoughts about today's ball games before we go ahead and look ahead to tomorrow? Because there's a lot. This is a big Friday. 2 games. Let's play 2. Ernie Banks.
Yeah, and I was living on those good vibes after the first game, and I was feeling really good going into it. I texted you. I was thinking, let's get 2 wins today. I'm gonna be so pumped on stream tonight. But it took the win out of my sails a little bit, and then I was watching the Phillies and Brewers game after just to like root for the Phillies to kind of like save things, and of course the choke job by Bohm at third, so that took it out of me. But overall, at least we didn't get swept ourselves is how I'm going to look at this one, because it could have been worse, could have been a lot better, but it could have been worse as well. So I guess glass half full.
Well, I'm glad you're still glass half full, but I was super pissed. I'm not going to lie. I know you were too. I was pissed off because you had a chance. Now, we didn't know what was going to happen in that Phillies and Brewers game, but the Phillies were winning. And if the Phillies win that game after the Cubs, were projecting to win the game, they were looking like they were supposed to win the game. Cubs win, Phillies win and beat the Brewers. The Cubs are a game and a half out of first place in the NL Central. And you know what? This is my fault, Nick. I'm taking accountability. I'll take responsibility. It's my fault because I put a 2-team parlay in. It was Operation Take Over the NL Central. I put in a 2-team parlay, Cubs money line, and I had the Phillies money line. So absolutely, I jinxed it. It's my fault. You can all blame me, and I'm sorry because I did it.
At least you took credit for that.
Yeah,
it takes a big man to do that.
my bank account, my betting account doesn't like me either. So, and college football starts tomorrow. Well, I mean, it's already started, but it's Big Saturday, so
now you can actually watch it if you're not like having all the latest stuff.
Oh, dude, I'm still betting on it too. I'm still gonna bet on it.
That's great.
No question about it. Me and little tease here. Me and Beaton might have a betting show tomorrow morning if I can wake up in enough time. Got to wake up enough time to bet it too. But they did. Oh, college football on tap debut, the inaugural.
They debuted,
show tonight. So that's pretty cool. Just go check that out.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to watch because I was so in deep with the Cubs tonight. So, but gonna go back and watch that if I have time before I go to bed here. Everybody should check that out before the games start off tomorrow morning. But yeah, tomorrow, Nick, you mentioned though, Alec Bohm had a freaking bomer over there at third base.
What an idiot!
Wow, 3-run error. How can you do that, dude? I'm sorry, but terrible situation out there. Get in front of the ball. I know you're a major league. Get in front of the ball.
After Trey Turner rescued them again.
Dude, Turner's on fire.
Ever since that standing ovation. Pretty cool, honestly. It's a cool baseball story. But then Bohm just had to go throw it away. Just throw it away. Can't save us. It seems like when good teams play the Brewers, no, it doesn't matter. They can't help the Cubs. Just let the Brewers keep winning.
You got to do it yourself. It's the only way to take care of the
Take
Brewers.
care of your business. Yeah. But what happens when you can't take care of your business?
Right. Then we're sitting here tonight like
Depressed.
jackasses thinking we were going to be a game and a half out. And we're 3.5 games back now. So that's how much they swung. They were 3 games back coming into
So
today.
frustrating.
They won. They were 2.5 games back. If they would have won, they would have been 2 games back. If the Brewers would have lost, they would have been 1.5 games back. So I know this is just math. Like everyone can do their own math, and I'm just like saying it out loud. But they absolutely now being 3.5 games back instead of 1.5. That's a huge difference to me. Like
It is. Well, yeah.
what in the fuck? So what Stephen Dubois here, so hopefully I'm saying your name right. Did anybody realize halfway through the second battery it's not the same? The second at bat he meant. Halfway through the second at bat, it's not the same. So I'm not sure. Can you clarify that? I'm not quite sure. Do you know what he's saying, Nick? No?
I don't think so.
Nick's too tired to even understand. I don't. Me too. I'm probably too. I was like, oh no, he says.
This Cubs loss has just ruined me, honestly.
I think Cubs fans are just ready for bed at this point. So
It's
tomorrow,
just
5:40. Great segue. Tomorrow, 5:40. Appreciate you guys jumping in the chat. Steven, Nick Kirby, my guy. Anybody watching, listening. So tomorrow, Javier Assad, the dude's been shelving, absolutely on fire on the mound. He's going to go up against Andrew Abbott. That's a 5:40 start time at Great American Small Park. Small Park. Great American Small Park. Ballpark. Whatever. Yeah, so that'll be a good one. Good pitching matchup. I think Andrew Abbott is absolutely he's been really pitching well this year. Not as well as he started out. He was on fire. Just came out of nowhere. Called him up. Guy was just dealing. But what are you thinking about tomorrow? What do the Cubs need to do to pick up a win and hopefully maybe pick up some ground on the Brewers if anybody could please help the Cubs out and beat the Brewers, and they don't have to do everything their damn self all the time.
Yeah, the offense needs to support the pitching a lot more. They got to go out there with runners in scoring position and utilize, correct fundamental baseball to get runners in. I mean, that's all you have to do. Just frustrating, but yeah, I really think that the offense is going to have to carry them out of this. Like you said, small part. Just hit some home runs. Just, help Javier Assad, carry him a little bit so that he can get deeper into the game. You don't have to use as many arms. But I'm looking for Assad to keep doing what he's doing. He's looked good. He's got to be good down the stretch. We need starting pitching to be good. And he's just a guy that you can kind of rely on lately. So hopefully he gives you the innings. I'm hoping he gives you the innings and the Cubs offense doesn't make it close. Please don't make it close.
Put a thumping on him.
Yeah. Like the first game, honestly. Just a lot of home runs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Steven's here. He's saying exactly what we're saying.
I saw that. Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
But my issue is the offense. No problem with how they performed in the first game, though. Like 6 runs, I'll take it. I mean, I know it took them a while to get to that point because they started chipping away towards the end, too. But when you can cash in, we've already said this on the show tonight, but like when you can cash in, you have to cash in. Just make it a point to cash in. And more home runs, like in the first game. 3 home runs in the first game. Let's do more of that. I want to see 2 to 3 again tomorrow. And then he was talking. I think he's talking about Edward Alzolay, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, after the home run that he gave up, he wasn't the same. He did look a little shook, and that's what I was saying earlier. I think he definitely was affected by giving up the lead for sure. Yesterday and today. Today especially because he definitely didn't remain calm and keep control of the situation. But You know, I mean, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and the way he gave it up tonight is like it's a single. It's just the guy was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's all. So it's tough.
Yeah. It is tough. I think he's got the stones to be able to overcome that, though, and I'm glad that there's a little bit of turbulence here. Like, I don't want him to get into a weird situation where he's all of a sudden facing a little adversity, or when a team bites him. Let's say he's got a 2-run lead, he gives up the home run off the bat. Maybe, and he can still kind of come in there and lock the door down. I still have all the confidence in the world in Alzolay, and I think only games like this only are going to make him better. He just, because we've said it, he just seems like a guy that thrives in that closer's role, and I don't think this is going to be enough to shake him overall. I just think it's one of those situations where, yeah, if you're in the moment, especially for a young pitcher, let's face it, yeah, he hasn't pitched all that much in the majors, though, because of the injuries. He's still a young pitcher. For a young pitcher to kind of deal with that in game, maybe not so much, you can wipe the slate clean, you can come back tomorrow or pitch on Sunday and be fine. But when you're a guy that in game dealing with it when it's happening, sometimes that can be difficult to overcome. And you're also facing a good young team. Like, let's face it, I know there's some randomness to that. Nick Martini home run, right? Like, he's not a dude, right? You wouldn't expect him to be a dude. Stuart Fairchild, kind of the same thing. I don't really think he's a dude, but Noelvi Marte, he killed the Cubs today. First game, I think it was 2 for 3. They've got some guys in that lineup that are going to be there for a while. Like, this is a solid team. They don't have the money that the Chicago Cubs have, but like, this division actually looks pretty solid moving forward here. And I don't want to give too much credit to these other teams. I know we don't do that here. There's not too many of us that like to give credit to the other divisional teams, but it's just one of those games. You know what I mean? Just one of those games.
And they suck, and it really sucks because, like you said, it's the opportunity. So that's why you're left with just a bad taste in your mouth, because you had an opportunity to do something greater, you didn't do it. You got to just turn in these next 2 games and lock it down. Now you have to win both.
Yeah, you got to win both, 3 or 4. Every series counts. Every series win you need. I think you want every series win. That's all right. I don't want to be pissed off again before we go, but you had a chance to be like, all right, guarantee yourself 2. You just need to take 1 of the next 2, and that's what really pisses me off about tonight.
Yeah.
Because, holy shit, man! Holy shit! Do you feel any better than you did?
No. I thought we were gonna vent and feel all better. I feel worse. I feel like this is absolutely terrible.
That's because we were too positive for the most part. We focused on too many good things. That's the optimist. That's the Cubs optimist in us. That's bullshit, though. Let it out, Nick. Let it out.
Let it out. I mean, it is bullshit. It really is. The thing is, they're dangling a carrot in September, and it's really frustrating because, like, you want to stay right where you are. You want to push all the other teams away, but you also want to win the division. Like, I want to win the division. Screw the wild card. Let's just go take the division. And let's put ourselves in a better position and not just sneak in. So it's like, this was a really big game to help get to that place. So bad taste. I don't know. It's going to take a little bit to get out of my mouth.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think there's a big difference. September 1st, if you're ending September 1st, a game and a half out potentially, to 3.5 games out. And you're still locked into that second wild card, I believe, here. So it's not all doom and gloom. And excuse me. And technically, the Phillies lost, so that was actually good for your wild card to potentially move up there. So it's like,
If
all
you're
right,
looking at the wild card, yeah, you could totally be like glass half full mentality if you're looking at the wild card. But then if you look at the division, you're like, oh man, are you kidding me?
right.
When are the Brewers going to stop winning baseball games? Maybe they'll just get on a really bad stretch of baseball here coming up, just like a really bad losing streak. I'm feeling it. They need it. They're due.
They are
They're
due.
due.
Oh, I thought the
Really
Cubs were
bad
taking
streak.
care of that.
It's coming. Like the Cubs are going to take care of their business, but the Brewers are also going to go on a really bad losing streak.
No, but I thought that's what I thought we were heading tonight, Nick, because the Cubs had just taken care of 2 games against them. So I
Yep.
thought, okay, that's the start of the slide. We had to kick them. We had to give them a little push start. The Cubs were going to give them a little push start, little underdog push under the
Right.
swing.
Right into the Phillies, who are all of a sudden hot, on fire. Nothing. Choke job. Choke job by Alec Bohm.
Fucking Alec Boehmer. Alec Boehmer. Stephen Du Bois here again. I'm so pissed, and if we lose somewhere else, I blame today. Yeah, I'm with you.
Heck yeah.
Fuck today.
It's a bad. It turned out to be bad.
Happy Labor Day weekend to you, Nick. Happy Labor Day.
That's why my title's meh. Because that's how the day just felt meh. Ever since this loss.
Sounds
Everything
like a
else
thought.
that's good is gone. Cartman, meh.
Sound like you're throwing up on your mic. I
No, I'm
approve.
doing the Cartman from South Park. The meh.
Meh. Oh, okay. I didn't
That's how
catch
it
that
feels,
either.
dude.
Oh, meh. All right. On that note, we should probably get out of here. Any final thoughts before we go ahead and wrap this puppy up and look ahead to tomorrow's game?
Just win.
Just win, baby. Just win, baby. Who's your fly of the W tomorrow?
Seiya. Another big bomb from Seiya. He's not going to get screwed over by the stupid umpires of today.
I'm with it. I'm going to go with let's shake it up. Give me that spark. Give me that. I don't want the meh. I want the spark. I want the spark. I want the new energy, the new blood. Give me the guy that's making his debut, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Even though I know he's not like really excellent against lefties, even though he's a right-handed batter. You know where I'm going with this.
Yep.
Alexander Canario.
Canario.
Let's do it, baby.
A
Fly the
spark
W.
fly the W. A spark fly the W.
I want to see that like coming. You know what? This just reminds me too. Ron said this a long time ago. Ron said Alexander Canario has. Oh God, I'm gonna misquote him now. I think he said his thighs are like the size of coconuts, or his quads are the size of coconuts. He could crush coconuts. No, he could crush coconuts. That's what it was.
Crush coconuts with his quad.
Crush coconuts with that. So let's see it. Get that drive into those legs, and let's see you power one out of Great American Small Park, because he definitely has the strength to do it. So I want to see that tomorrow. But yeah, Nick, fun show, even though it really wasn't a fun ending to the night. Tomorrow, 5:40, Cubs, Reds. Going to do it again. Hopefully take game 3 of the series. Hopefully they can maybe make up some ground if they can get any help at all from the Philadelphia Phillies. Schwarber tried in the first inning with his tank job, but wasn't enough. With that said, though, we are Cubs on Tap. You can follow on Twitter or on X at Cubbies on Tap, CUBBIES on Tap. Follow all the On Tap Sportsnet content at ontapsportsnet.com, at ontapsportsnet on all social media platforms. Nick is at Nick_on-tap. I am at Joey Knows Nothing. Follow everybody else at Loose on Tap, at Juice on Tap, at Teddy Freddy 270, at Bulls Guy Rob, at oh God, I don't know his at, but it's Tyler Smith. And then we are one of 2 official Cubs podcasts here at the On Tap Sports Network. The Dingers podcast. Follow them on Twitter at Dinger Cubs. Mitch, Jake, Kevin, Jeff, those guys do an excellent job covering the Cubs on that side too. Every Monday, So yeah, you should definitely check that out if you haven't already. But if you know where to find us, you probably have found them as well. So, or maybe you found us because you were listening to them. But it's just awesome to be able to go back and forth with them and have two different programs to give you guys. Friday nights, I like these Friday nights, Nick. I like doing these these late night shows. I don't know what it is, but
these are fun. It's a great time, man.
Yeah, we need to keep continually doing this. Hopefully, as long as I can wake up on Saturday college football mornings. So that's going to be my issue, I think. But
get some more W's. Hopefully, talk some more W's out.
Yeah, the W's will make me sleep a little easier. I don't really like going to sleep after these losses. They just don't sit right. But with that said, what do you say? Get on out of here. Get on out of here. Get on out of here. The only way we know how.
Fuck the Cardinals.
Fuck the Reds too. And fuck this offense. Go Cubs.